I am Sandflower. I am a human being. I am an artist. I am curious and alive and awake and here. That's who I am today.
Well, it's good to have you awake and alive at the moment.
Thank you.
As opposed to maybe taking a nap underneath the Florida sun-ish. I know it was raining.
Yeah, exactly.
And you currently have a song that just came out over the weekend. Oh my gosh, let's talk about it. Let's talk about Bump. What is Bump?
Bump is just like the quintessential, my version of a quintessential just party, good vibes song. It is, I'm describing like moments in the club, like when you see the girls in the bathroom, everybody's doing a myriad of things. You might even make a friend, you're dancing, you have like your favorite looks on, you're meeting people, and you're just losing yourself in the music and you're hyping, I just want to see you bump. Like, I just want to see you and you want to see me and we're doing this together. That's what Bump is to me. It's just like, just good vibes song where you can listen to by yourself and still jam and like remember your favorite party, or like you played at a party and people just get hyped together.
And definitely agree with you. I was literally dancing before you popped on a second ago because it's a great song. It has that nice feel to it. You just kind of feel like you are like you said, in the club. Now with this song, you are working with so many different people in this mix. You got Mix Mister. How did you get to meet him and work with him on this?
Well, I was in the studio with Cisco and he was playing me some songs that he had. We were going through tracks and then he just pulled up the song and without the verses, it was already the chorus. So Bump chorus was already there, but I heard the beat and I heard the words bump and then the chorus came on and I was just like, okay, tell me about this song. Is it open? Can I hop on it? Can I create a verse? Like, cause it was just like immediately lyrics started coming into my head because I was starting to see things from the song. And I had never met Migs before. But I was like, hey, I really want to do this. And so Cisco contacted Migs. I ended up meeting Migs and he's so cool, good vibes, like been in the scene a while and is really, really talented and really, really creative. And it was really cool. I was like collaborating with people and like getting their vibe and how they write and how they perform. And it was just like, it was really cool synergy because there's also this, when you jump on someone else's song, there's a little bit more pressure because it's not just like, do I like it? Do they like it as well? So sometimes it's good to have that like little bit of like excitement, extra anxiety, just like a smidgen, because it kind of forces you to just like bring your best, bring your A game.
I love that. And I'm curious because you mentioned it a second ago, when you're looking for a song to potentially create with somebody using one of the base songs, what goes through your head when you listen to the songs?
Well, it's funny because I used to do a lot of songwriting that was pitched for other artists. So I actually don't. So I should have prefaced this by saying I don't usually want to jump on songs that have already been created that I haven't been a part of, because I don't usually like, I can love the song, but it's very rare that something will come on where I'll be like, oh, I wish I would have wrote that. That still has the opening for me to be on it. Sometimes like I'll hear songs, friends will play me songs and I'll just like, oh man, I wish I could have written that song. And Bump just happened to be one of those things where it's like, oh, I can still write it. So I'm never actually ever really looking for someone else's tracks. So when I hear it, I'm just excited. I listen for when I hear like a beat, a lot of artists say that they have synesthesia, which is like you hear sound or you taste visuals.
The colors,
Yeah, exactly. Like I just thought everybody did, especially when I hear a beat, I kind of start seeing images. And if I don't see or feel anything, I'll just keep listening for the next beat. But that's really what I'm doing when I'm working with somebody, when I'm hearing, it could even be a drum beat that'll, and all of a sudden, like the sparks start to fly and the colors start coming out and like the feelings start coming. That's what I'm really looking for when I'm writing and creating anything. And also when I write something and I try to listen to it objectively after I record it to see, okay, did I enhance that feeling or did I like squash it? Did I overthink it? Did I, erase the feeling that I had? So it's always that delicate balance between enhancing the initial seed of the idea and not like just overwhelming it too much.
Has there ever been songs that you wanted to work on so hard that you realizing after you took that step back that it just wasn't going to work?
Yeah, I have I mean, I think that's a good thing. I think probably everybody who is a songwriter or an artist or anyone that's doing something very similar over and over and over again, you're gonna have those songs that like didn't quite make the cut. It's like, a painter and you have your notebook where you're kind of coming up with ideas, and sometimes you hit the canvas, you get it, and sometimes you don't. But you can keep that song and maybe revisit it and then take some things out or rework some things. But yeah, I have numerous songs that like I from the beginning of me writing songs to like now, where it's like something is missing or it's just not the right moment for it. But yeah, I mean, too many to list, but that's good because I have like hundreds of songs. So that's like, you gotta increase your odds. It's like, I guess like a basketball player, you gotta keep shooting. And like the more shots you take, the more odds of you like hitting that basket are gonna be, or like a baseball player. I don't know much about sports, but you know what I'm saying.
Yes, I agree with you on that. Oh my gosh. We mentioned it a second ago, and I wanted to bring it back up. You worked with David Cisco. Oh my gosh. Like, how did you meet him, and how did you like decide, hey, I want to work with you on this track, and also I think another one too?
So let's see, it's been a while now, but maybe 6 years ago, I was on Interscope Records. I had a singles deal, and I was in New York, and I always am walking around the city. Like that's my one of my ways of meditating and calming my mind is just like to walk. And the best days and the best walks are when you don't really have to go anywhere and you just kind of let the vibe take you wherever. And there's always this moment where I'm like, oh, I think I'll go this way. And then I'm always like, oh, something good is going to happen today. Cause that like impulse to go down this street instead of that happens. And I bumped into, and I don't remember his name, but a music manager who I had known over the years. And I had just gotten back from LA from beginning the process of negotiating the deal and finding out that I was being signed. And Cal, that was his name, Cal. I was like, Cal, I just got signed to Interscope. This is so exciting. And he's like, oh, well, you should meet this producer that I really like, David Cisco. And I went to, maybe it was like 2 days later, I went to Cisco's studio and he played me these beats. And it was so exciting because at the time I was working with a lot of LA producers and I was doing a lot of songwriting, also, like I said, pitching to other artists heavy at that time. That was like my main focus. And one thing that I really loved about when I met Cisco was that he wasn't trying to make me into anyone else. He wasn't trying to make me sound like this person or sound like that person or play me a track that sounded like something that was already on the radio. And I really appreciated that, because it's like you want to walk in and be able to be yourself, and you're always like looking for yourself in a way, like you're looking to find that. And when you get to work with somebody whose aim is to bring that out of you, it's so refreshing, because a lot of times people kind of want to, and it's not always on purpose, but they kind of have a vision of also what they want. And if both people or whoever you're working with can come to the table with like a blank slate, then I think there's a even higher possibility for magic to be created.
It's awesome. I'm curious to know, in terms of working with him on Bump, was there any like moments where the two of you were like, okay, what about if we did this? And then it all of a sudden just clicked in for you.
We switched the verses, actually.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So the original song, the second verse was the first verse, and the first verse was the second verse. Like it was, we were listening to it, and it was like there was something. And then we're like, oh, let's just try it this way. And that's a cool thing, especially about the way technology is now versus like in the 1920s or something, where it's like, it is what it is, you know, like doing that just totally opened the whole song up. And that was a big moment. I remember that very clearly.
Ooh. Now I feel like I have to check it out and figure out what it sounded like beforehand. Oh, I love that little tidbit. That's awesome. So as we'll kind of take a little step out of the Bump world, I want to talk about how you got onto a Netflix movie. Oh my gosh, how did you get in? Okay, let me rephrase how I want to put it. Wannabe, one of my favorite songs from the Spice Girls. Oh my gosh, how did you do the cover, then got into this Netflix movie? Like, I'm curious in terms of that process.
Sure. Yeah.
I know it sounded confusing for a second.
No, I know what you meant. I know exactly what you meant. So I was having kind of, I guess I wouldn't say writer's block, but I was a little bit exhausted because I had tried to go back into the world of songwriting for other people, but my brain wasn't really there, because I still wanted to work on my own projects. And when you're writing for other people, you really want to, like, at least for me, I really want to infuse myself with the energy of the artist, and really try to write something as if I was speaking from their voice, like instead of like what I said about someone putting their voice on me, even though you literally are putting your lyrics and your sound, you're giving it to someone else. My approach is that way. And that when you're doing it, so many different artists and working with, it can get a little, at least for me, since I'm still an artist myself, it can get a little jumbled. And at that moment, I was talking to Cisco, and I never did cover songs before. Like, I never really did that. But there's something to, like, when you're first learning how to play music, you're learning how to play other people's songs. And the Spice Girls were such an impactful band for me. Like, I remember the first time I saw Wannabe video, and I saw Scary Spice, and I was like, that's me right there. Like, this like energetic girl and her friends, and just like, it was such a big impact too, because I was also I went to private school, and I was one of the only kids of color. And so to see Scary Spice with all her friends and everybody, like, not everybody looked like each other, it was just great. And I really that just was like a explosive moment in my mind. And when I was having this feeling of like, I don't know what to write, I don't know where to go, I did 3 cover songs. One was Wannabe, the other was Avril Lavigne's Complicated, and the third one was TLC, No Scrubs. And Wannabe, I knew that I couldn't do it like them. Like, I don't want to try to recreate something that's already been, like, that song was like, and still continues to be iconic. Like
Yeah.
everything about that song. I'm not gonna like be able to redo it, but I can try to take it and give it my own flavor. And so I had recorded that, and it was so much fun. It was so liberating because you already know it's a good song, and all you have to do is just like, Cisco made this really cool beat. I told him, and so he like made this beat, and it was actually, to me, it was nostalgic. And I think I read one of the interviews of one of the musical directors were talking about when they were picking songs. Oh, let me go back.
Yep.
Okay. So I wrote this song, and I work with a publishing company and different publishers. I work with Charles, who has a company called Mother West. I work with Ryan over at 1RPM. And they are pitching my music to different film and different television shows. And it's funny because I always like give them the green light. Like, if you think it's a good idea, just go for it. If you need anything from me, let me know. But like, I trust you and I trust your judgment. So they kind of didn't tell me what the project was because it was a huge thing, and I didn't want to overthink it, because I think when there's like an opportunity, it's good to like just sometimes just leave it alone. Just like, I don't even look at it. It's like, just tell me what happens. So yeah. So unbeknownst to me, the process was a lot farther along than I had really known, which was great because basically they were asking Cisco for the stems, which means they're asking for the individual parts of the song like pulled apart. So the vocals by themselves, all of that, to ultimately they were mixing it into the scene where she finds out that she didn't get into Stanford. So spoiler alert, sorry, did you
I've seen it.
Okay. So when I found out about it, it was this like incredible thing because I was like really experimenting with TikTok and looking, and Noah Centineo was like, for some reason the algorithm like was giving me like all these videos of him and all this like TikTok content. And so I was like, who is this person? And so I Googled him, which led me to All the Boys I Loved Before. So it's funny because I had actually found out about it prior to finding out that I got this placement. And what I found out too is the musical directors heard the song, and to them it was like very melancholy. Like they hadn't heard a version of the Spice Girls song Wannabe that sounded that way. It was a little sad, and they thought it was the perfect piece of music for that particular moment, because it was like this. And this is one thing I love about music. Like, my favorite songs have a little bit of joy and a little bit of sadness in them, and it kind of like rubs together and gives this like really meaningful emotional connection. And I'm happy that I could take a song that was just full of joy and full of light and just kind of give it to me, which was kind of like a nostalgic spin on it, but make it feel like there was some more emotion to it, so they could actually balance out the Spice Girls original song, which was also in the film. And I just thought that was so cool. I found out that the Spice Girls manager had heard the song, which I like almost died when I heard that. I was like, oh my gosh, like what? Like, just to be connected to something that I love and respect and had like such a huge impact on me. Just, it was like, I wasn't even thinking about that when we made the cover. I was just looking for, some joy and fun and no pressure, and that feeling and that energy and that just open creativity led to something that like I would have never even imagined. It was amazing, and that opportunity really opened up a lot. Like, I think it's now almost like 500,000 listens on Spotify. Like, it just, a lot of like all these playlists. It just is crazy how one opportunity, like one person's decision to put your song somewhere can like really impact it. And it was amazing, and I'm so grateful for that.
I love that. Oh my gosh, I love the story. This is such a cute story. Oh my gosh. I'm just over here like, okay, just this is just a moment to take a break, but then like, oh, I love this. I love that. Oh, what's been the happiest memory this past year?
Happiest memory of this past year.
Yeah.
I actually just filmed a video that's gonna be for the album where I'm on jet skis, and that happened like on, when was that? On Friday. And that's the first thing that popped in my head, just like holding on for dear life, zooming on the ocean, recording this song, just this, it was just great. Just this open feeling for my vision. So that is my happiest memory that I can think of now.
I know, that's super fun. Wait, have you ever been on jet skis?
I had actually previously been on them one time. So this was only my second time jet skiing. Yeah.
So were you nervous?
Oh yeah. Oh, also I didn't have on a life jacket because I wanted to show my outfits, and I had on these really big platform boots. So I was super nervous because I was not dressed for the occasion, and if I had fallen off, it wouldn't have been very good. So yeah, I was the most nervous.
Second time being on them, no life jacket, and platform boots. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, you gotta have a look. You know, you gotta turn a look.
Yes.
So even when you're on the jet ski or wave runner, sorry, they're called wave runners.
Yeah, here. Oh man, I wouldn't be able to do that. Oh, I actually have not even been on jet skis yet.
Oh really? It's really, really fun. It's so fast. The first time I did it, we were on a lake, and the second time, this previous time, was on the ocean, and it is a whole other experience. It feels like so much faster. Also found out later there were definitely like sharks and dolphins, and I'm really glad I didn't fall in. So
oh gosh, yeah, that would have been scary. It would have been really scary. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Here, has a stranger ever changed your life?
Has a stranger ever changed my life? I'm gonna go ahead and say yes, just because everyone you meet was once a stranger. And I feel like my life has been changed so many different times by so many different people that it's like I always think about, especially when things can get a little difficult, I always think, okay, there's somebody out there who I haven't met yet who is going to have a very big impact on my career, on my life. I mean, the musical director who I haven't even met, the musical directors for To All the Boys, she's a stranger. They are strangers to me, but they changed my life. They literally did. And Cisco, when I met him, Holly and Fernando, it's like Raul, it's like we're all once strangers pretty recently, but now we, you know, yes. It's kind of exciting to think about it.
It is,
like,
it's super exciting.
Yeah.
I love it. I love that idea. And honestly, I think pretty much everyone has that opportunity of getting their life changed by a random experience, a random stranger, a random Tuesday, you know?
Yeah, exactly.
Here, what was an unusual crush you had as a kid?
An unusual crush that I had as a kid, I mean, there's so many. I look back and I'm like, really? I had a crush on a Thundercat? Like, how did that happen? I think, let's see, Karate Kid, the cartoons. I was crushing on cartoons so much. It was actually, it's pretty funny. I think that's like influenced my style, just because I feel like I was already like realizing that I really like Lion-O from Thundercats. Like he had like this really cool hair. He was very athletic. Like he was a leader. He had integrity. So I think it was a crush differently than like now, because it was just like, oh, I want to spend time with this person, or like I'm really drawn to this cartoon. I want to live in this world. This is the world I want to live in. So yeah, like cartoon characters. And I talk to other people who've had that experience with other cartoon characters too,
Yeah.
which is interesting.
I know mine was Tuxedo Mask from Sailor Moon.
Oh, really? Okay, yes.
That was my go-to, both in tuxedo form as well as his normal form.
Okay.
We'll do one last one. And this one I think will be a great one to wrap it up, because right now you're in Florida, you're chilling out. What is your perfect day right now? Well, describe your perfect day.
A perfect day would be to wake up around 10 a.m., drink some coffee, take a bath, get ready to have a recording session around noon, take some time to, get the hair, the makeup, the look together, saunter over to the studio and spend probably the rest of the day and part of the evening just like recording. Maybe the studio's filled with a bunch of cool people and everybody's just writing and jamming out together. That would be an absolute perfect day. Right now.
I love that so much. Oh my gosh. And speaking of that, any upcoming things we should know about?
Yes, I am currently about to release my very first album, and it's called The Quantum Seed. And we are working on it now, and that is really exciting to me. That's going to be like giving something to the world that's so near and dear, and it's a little it's exhilarating, and it's going to be the biggest body of work that I've put out at one time, so I'm really excited about it.
I'm super excited about it too. Oh my gosh. And then in the meantime, where can we be able to find you?
You can find me on Instagram. I think that's one of the primary spots. Sandflower Power, TikTok Sandflower Power, Facebook Sandflower Power. That's my Sandflower Power is me all around. You can find me on Spotify, on iTunes, SoundCloud, YouTube. YouTube is a great place because they're launching these videos. I think YouTube is a great place to find me and discover the visuals with the music.